Good morning. There's another wonderful presentation from one of our entrepreneurs from Accelerant Referrals, Team Alpha. My name is Gabe O'Neill. I'm the founder of Accelerant Referrals. Now, today we're going to be introducing Rick Sheninger, and he is going to talk today about 3 ways to utilize social media more efficiently. As a sales and marketing professional for over 25 years, Rick Sheninger specializes in using technology as leverage to build more real-life relationships with customers. He's a firm believer that in this high-tech, high-touch world we live in, that people want quicker access to the personal touch and personalized attention without having to pick up the phone. Rather than offer cookie-cutter customer service, he specializes in helping businesses focus in on real communication with the individuals they serve and discovering and delivering what they want and need. And take it away, Rick Sheninger.
Thank you so much, Gabe. I appreciate it. What I want to talk about today is the 3 ways to use social media more effectively. Now, there's many more ways than just 3, but I just wanted to cover 3 that you can implement right away. The goal is you can take away from this and start doing whichever part of it you're not already doing, and it'll help you in the long run grow your business and really get more out of what you're doing right now with social media. And again, my name is Rick Sheninger. I'm with One-to-One Marketing. So what is social media? There we go. There's tons of social media platforms out there. This is just a handful. I just wanted to share with you: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. My point in this is not what they are. Each one has a specific way to use them. Some are more visual, some are more text-based. You know, Tumblr is a blog site, for example. So each one you use differently, but the overlying way to use social media is the same. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is not technically how to use each one, but how, in the broader sense, to use social media more effectively to help you grow your business and actually get some benefit out of using social media. The biggest thing you have to remember is there's a lot of noise out there, and you have to rise above the noise. You have to stand out. So you ask yourself, what makes you different? What makes you unique? What sets you apart from the other 3 billion people that do the same thing that you're doing? And that's where social media can help you when you use it effectively. So there's 3 ways to 3 ways I'll talk about today to set yourself apart. Number 1, it starts with a conversation. Number 2, bring value regularly and consistently to others. And number 3, give some glimpses into your real life. So we'll jump right in. Starting with a conversation. Social media is like going to a party, or I use for LinkedIn, I use going to a business networking event. When you walk into a room full of other people, regardless of the venue, you're not going to walk up to somebody and just start immediately talking to them about your business, or at least you shouldn't. What you need to start with is a hello. Start with a conversation. That's in normal life, that's where things start, is with a conversation. So when you walk up to somebody, you talk about, you say hello first. From there is where you start building rapport, you start building a relationship, but it all starts with that simple conversation. Do not jump into links or my business is, any of that stuff. Start with a simple conversation. Number 2, what value did you bring today? In this world, we often lose sight of the yesterdays because there's so much going on with technology moving as fast as it is, and all of our calendars overflowing with stuff. You've got to bring value consistently and regularly to keep top of mind for your your clients, your potential clients, your future clients. You've got to bring that value. You've got to share value with them, and not just things that you do yourself. It's not, oh, this is what I did for you, but this is what I found for you. This is what hey, I came across this article the other day I thought you'd like. Hey, I came across this, whether it's sharing a referral, it's sharing, what can you share to others that will bring them genuine value? And that's what you want to put out there. And last is keep it real. Let people see that you are real. Be genuine. Be authentic. Be yourself. And be real. So let them see snapshots of you in real life. Whether it's you in a coffee shop or you with, part of one of your family members. You don't want to only do that, and that's not, you don't want to lead with that on a profile picture, for example, on LinkedIn. But people want to know that you're real and you're not just some facade walking around. So it's really important to share whatever aspect of your real life you're comfortable sharing with other people. And that way they can know you more as a person, feel more comfortable with you, and it will go to great lengths building that rapport, building that trust, and building that relationship. So to wrap it up, you had me at hello, start a conversation. If you wouldn't say it to your neighbor across the street or the guy down the road, then don't say it. Don't lead with it in social media. What have you done for me lately? Make sure you're bringing consistent value. Whatever consistent is for you. I mean, if you can do it every day, do it every day. If you can do it every other day, fine. Whatever consistent is to you, as long as you keep it consistent. And let them into your life. Keep it real. Show that you are a real person, a real human being. And that's it. My name is Rick Sheninger. I'm with One-to-One Marketing.
Rick, I have a sort of a question or issue with social media, and I just want to know your thoughts on it.
Okay.
Like, I'm a very real open person. I've got a Facebook page, I've got a LinkedIn page, and I like to share my thoughts and stuff. But I find, just in general on social media, when you read, even if you read an article on some news post and you read the comments, I kind of sometimes hold back from putting too much of what I think. I try and keep it neutral, okay? Not always, not always successful. But and some people can. There's been cases where, people have disagreed, Keith and I know, where we just have a conversation and we see things differently, and it's respectful, it's fine. But a lot of the time, like with my Facebook, like especially with this election, if you want to share a thought, I don't do, because you can get attacked. I mean, I've met people that I go out, one lady, absolutely love her. We have coffee. I almost saw her as my surrogate mom. And then she posted something on Facebook which someone responded to, and I read what her response to that person was, and it was like seeing a different person. I mean, it was so personal and so mean that it actually surprised me. And it made it hard for me to associate this person that I'd gone and had lunch with and really liked, and seeing the way she responded to someone who disagreed with her. And so that's my biggest struggle, because, I'm an open book. I like people. I mean, I network a lot. And, in this election, I've got friends from people, Trump supporters, Clinton supporters, Sanders supporters, and I try and see the person. To me, that's just something else. But on social media, it's almost like you get crucified for having an opinion that doesn't fit, not everybody can do that. And so how do you go out there without engaging in these, outright wars? I mean, it can get so brutal. People stop talking to each other. So how do you balance that with trying to build a online presence? I mean, you've got to be yourself. You can't play it, you can't be different depending on who you're speaking to. You've got to be yourself. But some people don't like it if it's not what they expect of you or want of you.
Right. And that's a great point. The thing is, if you don't ruffle any feathers, then you won't get noticed. I mean, look at people like Rush Limbaugh, how popular he was. And he ticked a lot of people off. But he was hugely popular. And, you know, you can look back and there's lots of examples of that. Now, that doesn't mean you go out and jump on one of the election platforms and say, rah, 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 bish, boom, bah. But at the same time, if you go into it thinking, oh, well, I don't want to upset anybody, really, just like you said, you want to be authentic, you want to be real, you want to be an open book, but you want to attract people that you want to attract. So like this person, for example, that, you know, was a whole different person than you had lunch with. Well, guess what? They showed their true colors. If that's who they are, do you really want to be associated with that person?
Yeah. Well, in person, face to face, I adore them. It's just surprising sometimes. It's
right,
it was surprising.
But if that's how they are,
Yeah.
I mean, they showed a side. I mean, imagine if they had done that in public. Would you have the same opinion?
Yeah, yeah.
They did.
I find people, when they're in public, they will disagree with you, but more respectively. But online, it's almost like there's some different mask that takes over and they can just let go. And people will say things to you online that they would never say to you face to face.
Right.
I have a little bit of a different take on it. I see that what Rick's saying about being yourself and not attracting that type of person. But I personally have always stayed away from religion, politics, and just do not talk about it, period. I've seen the same things, Laura, that you've seen on Facebook, and it's just rife with them. And people there's a lot of vitriol going back and forth. And I've actually been surprised by some of the posts that I've seen. I said, I didn't know that person thought that way. However, what I always say, if you say, I love President Obama, or I hate President Obama, you just probably offended. Either way you say it, you're going to offend half the people that are in your stream. So,
an opinion. I don't have a problem with people seeing something different. Somebody who supports someone that I don't, it doesn't offend me. What does is when they attack you personally or start labeling, or the way you express it. Like, I can disagree with whatever politician, but you can just do it based on the way you see it, not, but it gets so personal.
No, it does, and that's why I totally stay away from it, because anytime you see that and that goes on a timeline. I actually had I forget what it was, but it was a politically charged post, and my brother and my nephew got on there and they started yelling at each other on my timeline. I said, hey, do you guys realize that this actually goes out in public? What you guys are saying. And then they calmed down and they apologized. But really, what happens is that's like a dumpster fire. People want to go see it. And so that's why I totally stay away from them.
Well, I think it also depends on what your objective is in a particular social media platform. If my objective is to generate revenue with Facebook, I would never post anything about religion or politics or anything else that is going to be polarizing. For me, Facebook is not about generating revenue. It's about me revealing or talking about things that matter to me. And for me, politics and religion do matter to me. And so I'm very willing to share my thoughts. And my attempts is always to do it with a high degree of professionalism and respect, and knowing that probably half the people who are my friends radically disagree. I've got one woman who is a very good friend who's, she thinks I'm a complete idiot. And,
is that your ex-wife?
She may be right. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she is. I think she's a little idiotic herself. But I try to avoid name calling, and I will dump anybody who calls me a name. I'll send them kick them to the curb, because name calling is not necessarily very helpful.
That's a good point. And that's the other thing I was going to say, Laura. In answer to that, there is a block and there is a report option with all social media, so you do not have to be subjected to that. I mean, people, when they say stuff like that, are reflecting themselves. It has nothing to do with you. And if that's what if they're reflecting that kind of behavior, then get rid of them.
Yeah, because it's like, Facebook, when I started it, I've got friends overseas, and it's a great way for them to keep up to date on my kids. And I mean, I hardly ever call my dad, but I know he can see what's going on in my life on my Facebook page.
Yep.
But, you go to network meetings and people connect with you, and then you end up, so, Facebook in a way is also a business. Like, yes, there's a separate page, but they're usually so boring because they're just so bland and they're just articles. So, there is that mix. Like, if I wasn't doing what I do and it was just Facebook, well, fine, it's different. But when you've got people that you meet at network meetings, or people who you see on their Facebook have a very different view, I know if I say something about what I think, they're going to be offended just because I know what's on their page. So it just makes it, sometimes I want to just, dump half of Facebook and just have a very tiny group of close friends and family. Not saying it will go any better, but it's hard when you've got a public presence and you're networking, and you're connecting with people who you network with or meet out in business.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's all your choice on how you want to do that. I mean, you can set a personal rule that I'm not connecting with anybody on Facebook that I'm not a personal friend with, on your personal page. And
but then how do you build that business presence then? That's
have a business page, and you can choose to make it more interesting than just articles, because that's boring for anybody.
Okay.
Right? You have a choice on what you put on there, whether it's a business page or a personal page. It's up to you to make it engaging.
Okay.
And also, you can have more than one profile. I mean, you can have Laura, the business person, personal profile.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can connect with everybody, and make that a friends,
okay,
business friends.
Good idea. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, Rick. That was a great topic, and we all got a lot out of it.